Remember, remember the 5th of Maketember, gunpowder treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Just like Guy Fawkes, today's project has nothing to do with the 5th of September, America, or Parliament. But I think you're gonna like it. Do you ever get a piece of wood in the shop where you're like, this is a nice piece of wood? Well, this is big leaf maple, otherwise known as curly maple, and it is 18 inches wide. Sheesh. It is beautiful. So I want to be able to use the full width of this, so I drew up yet another serving board. Well, it just started thundering and raining, and I have a metal roof on the shop, so I'm going to make this part very, very quick. Today we are going to be using two bits. I'm going to be using the bowl bit that I just used on a previous project. I'm going to be running that at, I believe, 180 inches per minute. And secondly, we're going to be running the trusty and dusty 1/4 inch downtown Jenny, and that is going to be run at 120 inches per minute at a depth of cut of 0.1 inches. Now, this specific wood is 0.85 inches thick. I would recommend going at least an inch thick on projects like this, but sometimes you got a piece of wood that is so beautiful that you just can't pass up. Hopefully you can hear me over all the rain, but I just wanted to point out really quick, I did not go back and change the feeds and speeds, so Carveco recommends 40 inches per minute for that bit, and this is what happens. You get burn marks all in your work, and I'm going to have to sand all that out. So that's a downer, but you know, at the end of the day, it carved really nice, so that's good. I'm just going to have to spend some time actually sanding that more than I would have before, but things are turning out really, really nice. On to the old downtown Jenny 1/4 inch bit. Look at these chips off of that. You can't ask for better. So I can say with absolute certainty that this is one of my top 10 favorite things that I've ever made in my life. This is so freaking cool. So when the piece of wood came in, I was like, oh, I gotta do something nice with that. The piece of wood was very expensive itself. I think it was like 120 bucks just for that one stick of lumber. So this took up 1/3 of it, and I will be making 2 more of these, and those will be going on my Etsy for $250 a piece. Now, I know some of y'all are like, whoa, and some of y'all are like, well, that's $250 worth. I personally think it's worth $250, especially if you comb the internet for stuff like this, which there's not a lot of. Now, on to the cons of making something like this. I don't believe that you should normally make a cutting board like this out of a single piece of wood. This rocking, you put it on your CNC and you run a lot of flattening passes and you get it perfectly flat, it is still going to move. This is a very wide piece of lumber. Unless you like completely stabilize it with resin, it's going to move around. Secondly, the color of this. I normally would not make a serving board or cutting board out of maple. And the reasoning for that is the second that you have a nice big juicy steak that just came off the grill, you slap it on there, all that blood pours out, which is what the juice grooves are for, to be able to catch the blood so it doesn't pour out on your countertop. It's going to get stained pink. Now, the way that we prevent that is not only putting on mineral oil like we just did. We put on a ton of mineral oil on this and it's soaked in, looks perfect. Can't just put mineral oil on this. You also need to use a wax mixture, wood butter type mixture. Actually, there is a project later in Maketember that is requiring wax that I'm going to have to melt down for something. So stay tuned for that, but I'll be using that wax to condition this board because you don't want to cut a strawberry on this and then immediately stain it red. That wax is going to be the layer of protection that keeps those pigments from going in. Let's talk about realistically what you should charge for this. If you're selling it in person, I would try my best to get above $150. If you're doing this online, you have to think about how much this is going to cost to ship. This is going to be a booger to actually get all packaged up and shipped out through USPS. I would wager that this would cost over $20 to ship. So I would charge $200 online if this was regular type of wood. since this is something that I perceive as very special and very hard to get a hold of this type of wood in this width, I would charge $250 for this, which is what I'm going to be doing on my Etsy site for the remaining 2 of these that I'll be putting up there eventually once Maketember's all settled down and I've got time to mess around in the shop a little bit. We've got our huge board. This is the medium size on the other one. The shoulders, they match up perfectly. And then we've got our bread knife. How freaking good does that look? So good. So tomorrow is actually, I'm very, very excited about. I completely forgot about this. This is one of the first ones that I mapped out and knew I was going to be doing for Maketember. The hint is coffee. Thank you all very much for stopping by the wood shop today. I will see y'all in the morning. Bye.